Tuono V4. It will be interesting to see if I need to buy a sticker that goes on your tank. 55 world titles instead of 54. Maybe we'll get there this year, maybe we won't. But let's talk about what it's looking like in that regard. Hi, I'm Chad, and welcome to another episode of Mediocre Wheelies in MotoGP. Naturally, in virtual reality, because we like to do wheelies. In this episode, we are talking about the past weekend's Grand Prix of Japan, which was quite an interesting one. So if you haven't watched the race yet, you plan to, spoilers ahead, go watch the race, come back, and let's talk about it down in the comments below after you have heard what I have to say. So since you've watched the race, let's go over that finishing order. Jack Miller, Miller, taking the win, P1. What a race from him. That was quite the performance. He had been talking these past few months about how all he wanted to do was win one more race on the Ducati before he goes to KTM next season. And whoo-wee did he do it in fantastic style. Now, if you're new to the channel or just haven't watched my previous Mediocre Wheelies and MotoGP episodes, I'm a huge Jack Miller fan. He is undoubtedly my favorite MotoGP rider, and though while Ducati is not my favorite MotoGP team, always a good day for me when Jack Miller is on the podium, winning races, just doing well. Makes me really happy. Seems like such a great guy. I've never heard anything but good things about him from people that have met him. Hats off to Jack. What a race. Took the lead early on from Mark and just walked away with it. He was on a whole nother level compared to everybody else. Brad Binder finished in second. I think that was his first dry podium. So pretty awesome stuff from him. He did have a front row start, which was amazing. And he and the KTM were looking really good all race. So that also gives me a little bit of hope for Jack next season, being that he'll be Brad Binder's teammate. Then we had Jorge Martin finishing in third. Another great performance from him. It's been a while since his last podium. I honestly can't remember when it was. But that is your podium. Marc Marquez on his first full race back to MotoGP since ducking out earlier this season to go have additional surgeries on his arm and try to get back to a better place of strength and range of motion. Finished fourth. Started from pole. Amazing pole lap that was on Saturday. But yeah, it looked like he just didn't have the pace to go with everybody during the race. I don't know if that was because of his fitness or perhaps because of something with the bike, but kind of faded early on. It's also possible that he was just worn out after doing a whole day of practice on Friday, practice and qualifying on Saturday, and then coming into a full-length race. That was a little wheelie. But man, to finish in fourth after coming back for his first full race from that surgery, all his recovery and everything. I know he's not at 100% fitness yet, or probably not even close to it, but still, good stuff from him. Maverick Vinales, I had high hopes for, really just the Aprilia team in general, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Maverick Vinales, that said, 7th place. Again, hoping for a little bit better from him, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. He's consistently in the top 10 now, which is great. He did not qualify well either, so I think he did the best he could given the circumstances. Oh, whiskey throttle on that one. Fabio Quartararo, our championship leader, finished in 9th. I know he was hoping to do better than that, and in the past, I know it's been 3 years since they've been to Motegi, but the Yamaha used to do pretty well there. And Fabio did well there back in 2019, if I recall correctly. So that was interesting to see. But he extends his championship lead after the whole incident with Marc Marquez last weekend, claws back some of the points that he had lost after clipping Marc and crashing out of the race at Aragon. So the biggest things for me: first, poor Aleix Espargaro. I don't know what happened. According to Aprilia, somehow he had ended up with an eco flash on his bike on the ECU, so he had no power. It seemed almost like it was in limp mode. And he went out on the warm-up lap too and came in, sat on the grid for the full time like everybody else. So I wonder if somebody changed the ECU map on the grid while he was waiting to go out for the warm-up lap, but he was shaking his head before even the start. And when he went to go launch off the line, no drive, just got absolutely left in the dust, which is a huge bummer because this would have been the weekend for him to have at least a decent result. It's not often you see Fabio off the podium or even out of the top 5, or at least it wasn't until the last couple races, but would have been a great opportunity for him to claw back points. And unfortunately, it's Aprilia's mistake, not his. They goofed. Somebody out on the grid must have done something to the bike, or he would have noticed on the original sighting lap before the warm-up lap. I don't know what happened there, but that was extremely disappointing and sad to watch. Although sad and troubling, it was kind of funny when he came back into pit lane and just basically ditched the bike, and the mechanic kind of dropped it. Just like, get this bike out of my sight. Hopped on the other one, got back out, and ended up finishing the race, although he was starting so far behind second to last. It was a futile effort. He ended up finishing 16th, just outside of the points. It's a real bummer. That was actually pretty shocking. Aprilia has been on such a good run all season. It's surprising to see someone on the team make a mistake like that. But after Aleix's bike issue, Pecco. And he knew it too as soon as he tried to make the pass, I think, and especially after he went down and got up, gave himself that sarcastic little clap. But yeah, that end of race pressure, was not thinking about the championship there. Maybe he was thinking a little bit too hard about the championship or too aggressively about it, but I don't know what he was thinking. That was a bad place to try to overtake. It looked very impulsive, and based on the strengths of the Ducati, you know, it's insane acceleration and excellent braking stability. I would have figured he would have waited until they hit the back straight, just tried to stick right behind Fabio up until that point, catch a little bit of draft, or honestly, he wouldn't even really need a draft with the Ducati's power. But below past Fabio, outbrake him into that sharp corner that leads out underneath the bridge that is the speedway. But yeah, he just made an impulsive decision that was not well calculated, and he was about to run into Fabio, which is why I think he locked up the front, and man, did he just narrowly miss him. That would have been even more upsetting if he had wiped out Fabio with that. But luckily he did not. That would not have been cool. We don't like seeing people crash at all, but we especially don't like seeing people crash and take other people out. If people have to crash, we like to see them walk away and learn from their mistakes, which I'm sure Pecco will do from this. But talk about a way to end a podium streak, because he won 4 of the 5 races before this and was still second last weekend in Aragon. So what does this all mean for the championship, for our top 3 title contenders? First, Fabio is working his way back up to a more comfortable lead. Doesn't have another get-out-of-jail-free card yet, but he's 17 points ahead of Pecco, who was only 10 points behind Fabio coming into this race weekend. But since he failed to score points and Fabio scored 7, there you have it. Aleix is still in third. 25 points is the gap from him to Fabio, so still pretty close. Certainly far from decided, and we still have a lot of races to go. 3 coming up in the next 4 weeks. So, very exciting stuff. Going to be very interesting to see what these next few weeks bring, but I am very excited for it. This has been quite a season. I think the most exciting season that I've seen to date, besides maybe 2015. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would sincerely appreciate a gentle little click of the like button, and if you consider subscribing for more motorcycling themed content like this. Drop a comment below. What did you think about the race? How do you feel about the outcomes? Who do you think is going to take the championship? We're starting to get close there, and we've only got 25 points spanning the top 3 riders. Going to be very exciting to see what happens. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll hope to catch you in the next one. Until then, later.